turnovers were 6-0, and you won. But guys, there was at least 5 times in that fourth quarter that the game was just, any normal person, any normal team would just roll over and say, you know what, it's not our night. You guys take it. Defense, unbelievable job. You guys held them to a field goal attempt, they missed it. Turn it over again. No, we ain't there yet. Turn it over again. They get the ball to 40. They gain 2 total yards after punt. You don't even let them get a shot at it. Yeah. All right. Then they get down to chip shot, and we block it. Then in overtime, they go for the win, and you stop them. Hey, offense. It was a comedy of errors with the turnovers, the penalties, the goal line stand. But on 2nd and 10, in overtime, 25 yards to the house. We had the better kicker and we won. So nobody cares at the end of the day what it looked like. All it's going to say is SMU 7-1. A lot of guys banged up. A lot of guys stepped up on both sides. We got to get home, get healed up. All right, we got one more game before a bye week with an undefeated team coming into our house. I think it's pretty obvious that if we don't block that kick, we're not celebrating right now so far. Hey, before I do that, I got to give credit where credit's due. Where's Casey Horney? Let's go. One, two, three. Hail to the red and the blue. We're the Mustangs of SMU. With the cheers to the fight, with the victory in sight, with the battle cry, will we fight, fight, fight. Spirit is the best in the land. And right till the end we'll stand. For the MUSD. MGS, fight, fight, fight!
This is the On the Pony Express podcast, hosted by Billy Embody, brought to you by Epoch Estate Wines. Walking strong on the Pony Express, a weekly segment with SMU alum, owner, vintner of Epoch Estate Wines, Bill Armstrong. Epoch Estate Wines, world-class wines from Paso Robles wine country. Learn more, Epoch, E-P-O-C-H, epochwines.com. And now your host. Billy Embody. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Walking Strong podcast. I'm Billy Embody.
Woo,
Bill Armstrong.
My podcast partner.
We are no rest for the weary. Is that
are you
the
kidding
saying?
me? We wanted to get this out today because, and by the way, if we look like hammered shit, yes, we got in last night at 4 a.m.
We did.
After that absolutely improbable, crazy win over Duke.
Yeah.
Let's just start out by saying we're 7-1.
7-1?
7-1.
That's all that matters.
I mean, seriously, if you would have told me before the season we'd be 7-1, I would have said you're nuts.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely fantastic. So we have lots of descriptors for the game because our dozens of fans have reached out to me and said, I want to see what y'all think of the game.
Yeah.
Because it was crazy.
It was wild there.
It was crazy. I mean, how many adjectives can, crazy,
Unreal,
lucky, gutsy, miraculous.
Yeah. Anything around the miracle.
Around the miracle. I mean, if you're a SMU fan, of course, if you're a Duke fan, this sucks to be you guys this morning.
Yes,
it really does. But I think the best adjective I was thinking of is improbable.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why it's improbable. Before we talk about the improbability of that win, I want to introduce a great wine for this week out of our Mustang case, Pony Express case. This is our Epic Sensibility. And I specifically and especially chose this wine this week, and it wasn't football related at all. If you recall, at the beginning of the year when I introduced this wine, it is because I'm lost here.
Lack of sleep.
Did I mention the fact that we're
it's a real thing?
Did I mention the fact that we're exhausted? It is a real thing.
Cheers.
Cheers, baby. Is that our Pitt game is going to be 3 days before the election. And
Forgot we said we were going to talk politics on this episode.
I'm not talking politics in this episode. I was going to do a Trump deal, but I'm not going to do it, even though that was a huge win. Anyway, if I had a Kamala impersonation, I would do it, but I just don't.
I don't either.
Anyway, where were we?
Sensibility.
Sensibility.
For
Okay.
the election.
Because it's the biggest election of. They always say that every year. It's the biggest election of our lifetime, and I just want to make America again. Yeah. Let's get sensible America. So anyway, the wine is called Sensibility, and I picked it because of the name for this week, which is a really big week in our country, and it's not a football-related deal. But this wine is 100% Grenache. And for all you kind of semi-wine nerds out there, Grenache is the most planted grape in the world.
Wow.
I bet you didn't know that. No. And this wine is unbelievably smooth. It's, it's just flawless. But it's a lighter wine. It's a little bit like a Burgundy.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like a Pinot Noir. And in fact, cork dorks call Grenache the Pinot Noir of the Rhone.
Oh.
And so if y'all want to try a wine that, if you're not really big into the huge, big burly wines like some of our wines are, this is a little bit smoother, a little more, I don't know,
Approachable,
subtle,
softer,
yeah. Approachable, blah blah blah. You'll love it. Grenache pairs better with chocolate than any wine in the world. And for all you guys out there, guys, if you want to woo women, this might be your jam. I'm just saying. Hey, it's worked for me with my wife, even though we've been married 40 years. Anyway, okay, improbable. That's the adjective I want to use. So let me tell you just how improbable this win was for us. If you go back in the statistics of college, when one team turns the ball over 6 times, and the other team turns the ball over 0 times. That's happened 125 times in college football history. And the record is 1 in 124. Did you realize that? And so we just improbably had 6 turnovers to Duke's 0, and we won. So now it's 2 in 124. So that's why when we say that we are just like kind of astonished and amazed by that win, that's why. I mean, we have reason to be.
Everything that SMU did, and I don't want to say SMU, there's a lot on KJ's shoulders as far as the turnovers go, and he wore it. I was surprised he met with the media, but he wore it, and he's
a man.
Yeah, and
he's a stud.
And there's a lot of that on him, but the way SMU's offense kind of almost gave away the game in a sense with those turnovers was unbelievable. I mean, I asked Red after the game, I said, did you have to maybe laugh after it? He goes, no, I haven't laughed.
Yeah.
But
I'm not ready to laugh.
But it really was almost comical at one point, but they were able to play
comical in a tears kind of way.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
if you're
yes.
Because you're watching the game, you're kind of going, that didn't just happen again.
Can't believe this is going to happen. To SMU that they're going to lose in this way.
Oh.
But the defense, 0 points off any of those turnovers.
Off of those 6 turnovers.
That is unbelievable effort. That's unbelievable execution, and that's unbelievable coaching.
Yeah.
And having the guys prepared, because the defense wasn't perfect. The passing game,
nope.
For Duke had some plays, made some plays.
Yep.
But when they needed them in that fourth quarter, from that 9-minute mark after Duke tied it, SMU's defense was stellar and got them to that overtime.
No.
Which was also unreal.
It was so. Let's talk about the defense a little bit, because we always talk offense, right? I mean, and it's like, but Isaiah Wacobia, 13 tackles.
Yeah, 8 solo, right?
8 solo.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude was just there.
Yeah.
McGill, as usual, was there. And probably the best highlight maybe in the history of SMU was Jafarai's block field goal.
That was
I hope we can put that clip on here because it is sick.
For the win. Kick is blocked. This. Harvey right over the top in the block. Wow.
And if anybody in your life, if you're thinking, you know what, I'm just getting 100% of my ass kicked, and you think things just aren't going your way, just play that clip for yourself and to remind you, you know what, things happen. Because he just showed, what of an athlete he was.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. He just
full
leapt
knees
over.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so. Watch it in super slow-mo too.
Yeah.
Because it is sick. You know what? I think it gets him a ticket to the NFL.
He's going to land somewhere.
Yeah,
He will get an opportunity. A lot of those guys on that defensive line are going to land somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get their chances. And as I'm watching on the message board and watching the game from up top, people are wondering.
You did not read the message board.
No, we hung out a lot last
good
night.
Lord. All you SMU fans, for your own sanity, don't go to the message board.
yeah, don't go read the game thread.
It will absolutely drive you
everybody, and kind of right, you're wondering, all right, why isn't Rhett calling a timeout here? At some point, maybe like just give him an extra play. And you know what? Him explaining it on the post game was such a sign that, once again, we've talked about it earlier this year, the growth in him too. They knew they had, okay, we could take a timeout, maybe like they fumble or something.
Right.
Even lower. But they said, you know what? We're not icing the kicker. We're presenting a different look, and then we're going to come back with our plan. Maybe it works. Jafari, maybe his legs clip the guy and it doesn't work.
Right.
But he's going to give it a go.
Right.
And that's what we feel is best. And it worked out. That's good coaching. That's good planning.
Yeah,
That's great execution by the guys. And
he
what a play.
is growing up. I don't know if he needed to grow up that much, Rhett, but he is. Boy, you should have been there at halftime. He was chewing ass on the team at halftime. Like, protect the ball. We're kicking. We're kicking their ass. By the way, we fumbled four times in the red zone in the first half. We recovered 2 of them.
It was crazy.
It was unbelievable. I mean, you're watching the game, you're kind of going, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just crazy. And the thing about it is, you got to give SMU credit because we talked about the improbability of the win with the 6 turnovers. But I'm not sure how you felt, but I felt like we just owned Duke.
Yes.
We owned them. I mean, it was like in the beginning of the second half when we that beautiful play.
Yeah, it goes all the way down to the 1.
Down to the half-yard line, whatever. Yeah. And then we improbably can't punch it in.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I can have a little play calling episode there. Let's try something else besides just putting KJ up the middle. But then we had that stupid personal foul.
Pulling guy off the pile. Which I think college football needs to look at that. Like, I don't know, like, when you pull somebody off the pile, it's an automatic flag. Okay, let's try to use a little bit of judgment here.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know what, like.
Is that what pulled them from the 6-inch line to the 15?
Yep.
Because
and then it changed.
It changes the dynamic.
It worked out for SMU. The defense was able to get a stop, and then Roderick made sure this time he got in 81 yards. Unbelievable. Rhett said Roderick Daniels hadn't played a snap at receiver in a month.
Wow.
And when Jake Bailey went down at the end of the first half, he stepped in.
By the way, that Bailey catch was.
That was so clutch.
That was so clutch. And
huge. They score off of it.
Score off of it. I think he's injured, unfortunately. I think it's his collarbone, you think?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but he was in a lot of pain after the game. And so anyway, defense, wow.
Yeah.
All I can say is wow. Okay, let's talk a little offense.
Yep. Because
Brashard is continuing to show that he is a man. I mean, he is unbelievable, and he takes some hits. But yet he is zigging and zagging, but he's always zigging and zagging, but going upfield. He's going north-south while he's zigging and zagging.
He never gets tackled to the side.
No.
East-west. He's always just finding a way to fall forward for an extra half yard or yard.
How about that touchdown?
The touchdown lost in the game.
On the 4th down, he goes running out trying to get to the corner, and then he realizes, like, they're going to, like, they got the angle on me.
Yeah.
And he just abruptly stops, and he just rolls over 2 guys.
Yeah.
That was
Effort.
that
Pure
was
effort,
just-
pure want to.
I mean, you got to give Duke's defense. I mean, Manny Diaz is
Yeah.
a great defensive coach.
Yes.
And I think he teaches them to go for the ball all the
100%.
time, which is why they force so many fumbles.
Yeah.
Although this game was ridiculous.
A little
I mean, it
ridiculous.
was a little bit ridiculous. But, I mean, let's just talk about KJ just for a moment, because he might have been flying too close to the sun with his all of his early success where everything was going his way.
Yep.
Because this game, everything went against him.
Yep.
I mean, everything.
Everything.
And he started bad and ended worse. I mean, it went the whole game.
The last
Although,
3
no,
drives were like improbable.
yeah. Uh-huh.
What, 2 interceptions and a fumble? The last fumble, I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That one I couldn't believe. I was more shocked about that last fumble than I was about them blocking the field goal, truthfully.
I was astonished by all of it. I mean, it was just like, and I know KJ so well, and he's such a fine young man, and he's normally just cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
But dang, that, and I talked to him, I hugged him up after the game, and he and I have been texting today, and bad shit happens. I had to remind him that I have learned more in my life from my dry holes and my losses than I ever have from my victories. And he is going to come away from this a very dangerous person, I think.
I think so.
I really do. But whew, that was epic. That was epically like, holy crap, that just happened again. And you saw him after the game. He was so dejected.
He was.
I mean, tears in his eyes. He felt like he let the team down, but yet, you know, Richard, he had his back.
Yeah. That run was great.
By the way, let's
offensive
show that overtime. Can we show that overtime run? That was unbelievable. And then the 4th down, I'm not sure I would have done what Manny Diaz did, going for 2 in that opportunity. I probably would have waited for the next possession to go for 2. I don't know, but
that 2-point conversion, from my angle, and I forget where you were on it, but
I was in the end zone praying.
Yeah, I think you were kind of like right near me, but the angle I had on it was, oh my gosh, I heard the crowd, and I'm like, he's gonna run that in.
He's gonna run it in,
and it's over. But
he looked wide open.
Whoever was out there must have had a little bit of a gear.
Yeah.
And he decided to throw it, and I couldn't believe that it was incomplete. I was waiting for somebody to just come out of nowhere
or see a flag
Cole,
or something.
number 4, and catch the ball or something. But
oh my goodness, yeah, he is good at number 4.
Yeah.
So anyway, all I can say is good teams of destiny.
SMU always finds a way. Since week 1.
I don't want to, it's an overused term, I think.
yes,
But wow, good teams find ways to win.
if SMU ends up doing what is still very much in front of them, you're going to look back on this game and say, wow, that was obviously the game that they had to have.
Right.
They had to come away with a win. And Rhett, you know, it's kind of funny. His Auburn connections, weird things happen at Auburn with games.
Yes.
And when they've had good seasons.
Yep.
And he said it again after the game, and he said it last year. You look at like the Rice game, you have to win East Carolina. You have to win games like that you don't have your best stuff. You don't execute at a high level, but you find a way as a team. And I mean, he wasn't emotional with us, but he said he got emotional after the game thinking about all the plays that the guys made to get to that point, because he said, and it's so true, at about 5 different times, especially in that 4th quarter, they could have said, defense could have been like, oh,
I'm
God,
exhausted.
all right, I'm gassed. Can't do this.
I looked over at E-Rob. He had to like get carried off at one point, and then then he started playing again.
Yeah, he was out there for overtime. Yeah, it's all those things that, and that's where I felt like outside of the turnovers, and I know they were a huge piece, SMU had everything they wanted for the most part against Duke. Over 200 yards rushing, 250 yards passing.
We pretty much owned the statistics.
Yeah.
I mean, we did.
And, you know, if not for turnovers, they are rolling up 600 yards and maybe getting close to 40 points on a top 25 defense. Like,
So SMU is good, dude. I mean, we're
good.
We're 71. We go into on the road, by the way, the third game on the road
Yep.
in a row.
It's nice to be back in Dallas.
I know. I mean, all of October was on the road. We go there. They're 6-1.
Yeah.
They're 6-1.
No slouches.
No slouches at all.
They're tremendous slouches.
And I'm no slouch myself.
Don't sell yourself short, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch.
Tremendous. Thank you for that little quote.
Get to play that one
I
over,
know.
right?
I love it. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, but they're on the road, conference opponent, and everything goes wrong for
All
us.
the familiarity
Yep.
between the two sides.
All the familiarity, and we still win.
Yep.
I'm just saying. That reminds me of the This is a good segue into Pitt. Okay, this reminds me of the 1982 SMU team that went to the 1983 Cotton Bowl against Pitt, who were playing Saturday. But that SMU team was, I think, going into the Cotton Bowl was 10-0-1. We'd won 10, and we had a tie against Arkansas. And we had the famed Pony Express with McElhaney, Dickerson, and James. And if you remember that season, all you diehard Mustang fans, like I have always been and am, remember that game against Texas Tech when, for all practical purposes, we had lost with like 10 seconds to go. We were down, I think, 5. And we had that kick return, and they threw that backwards lateral to Bobby Leach. It actually skipped off of the turf, and then he goes the distance, 80 yards, to win. That was an improbable win. It kind of reminds me of this season a little bit. So, because that was one of those things. And even the Cotton Bowl game, I mean, I went with my wife, soon to be engaged, my pre-fiancée, and that's to Michelle. She knows exactly why I said that. Freezing our butts off in sleet weather on 32-degree weather in the Cotton Bowl, and we both had high-powered offenses. Dan Marino was the quarterback of Pitt. We had the vaunted Pony Express, and we win on a tipped interception in the fourth quarter, 7-3. Can you believe it? I mean, it was like, they were slipping and sliding, fumbles galore. It was just one of those games where you're watching it kind of going, whew. Anyway, so this match on Saturday against Pitt is a bit of a rematch of that. So Pitt's coming in town. They're 7-0.
Yep.
We're 7-1, undefeated in conference. So it's a huge game.
Massive.
Huge game.
ACC Huddle's in town.
ACC Huddle. By the way, ACC Huddle, love you, because I think you're a good luck charm. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah.
Eric, EJ Taylor, I'm just saying.
Yeah, Eddie,
Eddie,
Coach Rick.
The whole group of y'all, they're coming in town, 7 o'clock kickoff, which I love a night
For
game.
homecoming, too.
For
It's gonna be
homecoming.
fantastic.
The Boulevard is going to be banging. I mean, it's going to be, like, unbelievable.
They roped it off for the last month, solid,
To get some grass.
to get the grass going, and I tell you what, looks pretty darn good.
It looks so beautiful. We're ACC ready. And big game ready. I mean, big game ready. So tell us a little bit about Pitt, because I don't know a lot about them other than their record.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Pitt's coming off of what in the scoreboard is a dominant win over Syracuse.
well,
And Kyle McCord.
that was almost a little bit like the reverse. They had 3 pick sixes in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of one of the best. It was funny. Somebody on the message board made a good point today. Going into this weekend, you would have said KJ, Kyle McCord, Cam Ward, those are among the best quarterbacks in the
Right.
ACC. Cade Klubnik, a couple others probably. And KJ had his worst game by far.
Yep.
And
By the way, he had a quarterback rating of 11. I mean, KJ's quarterback rating in the first quarter against Stanford had to have been whatever the highest rating you could possibly have.
yeah, he was cooking.
In this whole game, he had an 11. I'm not
That's
sure
crazy.
I've never seen an 11. And it's just like, KJ, you just got to roll off this bad boy and just go on, because that happens. So anyway,
Pitt had 3 interceptions returned for touchdowns off of Kyle McCord. They jump out to like a 24-0 lead with like 86 yards of offense. So weird game. Like I don't think SMU is going to turn the ball over like that this week.
I have a
we
feeling.
can do a bet.
I
We can do a bet on that.
By the way, how did we not get a turnover against Duke? Because,
Crazy.
I mean, there were so many opportunities to pick off a pass. I bet we dropped 6 against him.
They had a couple for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you just go, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Pitt plays really good defense. Their coach is another defensive-minded head coach, Pat Narduzzi. Eli Holstein's their quarterback, really good player. I think Darian Reed is their kind of Brashard Smith. I think I have his name right there. But Eli Holstein is a kid that I know well. He's an Alabama transfer. He's from Louisiana originally, from Baton Rouge. Played at Zachary. And very, very highly touted kid coming out of high school. And then transferred from Alabama, found a home at Pitt, and has been playing pretty well. Their offense isn't like sexy or anything like that. They just get the job done. But that's kind of
ours is sexy as fuck until this week.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
So Pitt really embodies the city of Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
Pittsburgh.
By the way,
they play hard.
Pittsburgh, love you. Right in the middle of the Marcellus play, frack baby frack. I'm just saying. Hey, I am in the oil and gas business, by the way.
Hey, revenue sharing's coming up, buddy.
Yeah. But I love my Pitt boys.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Not this week.
No. But
no,
I know, as a city.
Yeah. So they're just a hard-nosed team, and you can see why they've ended up 7-0. They have their toughest stretch starting now. I believe they play Clemson.
Ooh.
They might play Miami. I don't have their schedule in front of me. I should look. And SMU. So that's why people have always kind of been talking, why doesn't Pitt get mentioned in the ACC championship discussion?
Oh, and they're saying
because
that. Okay.
There's some thought that they're going to lose and
just
lose
because of
their
tough conference.
Yeah.
I get it.
So
I get it.
We'll see how this one goes, but I mean, another hard-nosed team with a defensive-minded head coach, fresh off of turning the ball over a bunch against their opponent, or forcing turnovers against their opponent. So, look, this is a get-right game for SMU.
I agree.
Agreed. And you have an opportunity in front of your home crowd for the first time in a month.
Yeah.
Ford should be bumping. A lot of people are going to be in town, homecoming, all those things.
Hey, can I talk about the DU crowd, the Duke crowd just for a moment? The nicest. Everybody I met at Duke in North Carolina were the nicest people.
Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it.
And a lot of the game, we were sitting there right in front of the student section, and they know how to be fans.
Yeah.
They stood up the entire game. They were engaged. I mean, we could learn something, our students, from watching Duke, because Duke's had a lot of practice, mainly in basketball.
Yep, mainly in basketball.
But they know how to be engaged. They know how to trash talk without being completely.
And SMU students have been great this year.
Oh, they've been fantastic.
Fantastic. Mind all that.
I was not even trying to criticize. I was saying,
but they are super coordinated. They have all their traditions and all those things.
It's brilliant. As opposed to when you go in front of the TCU crowd, they're just sitting there just screaming F-bombs at you and all this. But the Duke crowd, they were ragging on me, for having a bald head. I mean, come on. But it was cute.
That's why I didn't go down there.
But they were really actually, they were criticizing us of being the safety school for Duke.
That's good.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hats off to Duke and your fans, because I thought it was great. Even though it wasn't a great crowd for a 6-1 team, I was surprised.
Yeah.
That it wasn't totally packed. So I think Ford Field's going to have their field beat. I really do.
Yeah, it's going to be bumping. I mean, the Boulevard is just going to be rolling.
Yes.
So many people are coming back into town, obviously for homecoming. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to see you guys on the Boulevard for sure. But
our suite is like a who's who.
Yeah.
We got Eric Dickerson, Craig James, Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, you name it. Billionaires alike. I mean, boom. It's going to be just the best. But I'm going to be on the field. I have eligibility. Rhett knows it. And see, more of our fans going by right now. I'm psyched.
Yeah.
I'm psyched for the game. Let's get a win.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm going to say I'm going to go back to my optimism again. I'm going to say SMU by 7.
SMU plays really, really well at home.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, really well. And
we've only lost one game in 2 years, right? BYU. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Didn't we win all games last year?
Yeah. It's yes. I mean, I think I would. Rhett's first year. Trying to think of the run. I know that year it was kind of rough on the road, but yeah, SMU's been very, very, very good.
Really good at home. And we really support at home.
Hopefully the weather's okay.
It's going to be rainy, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, hopefully not, but a little overcast. I mean, I kind of like 70 degrees and drizzle over at 101.
I like your 7. I do. I think SMU.
What's the line?
6.5 SMU.
What?
Yeah.
We're favorites.
Yeah, by a touchdown.
After a game with 6 turnovers, I'm
Yeah.
a little bit surprised.
I know. I think
a
that's a
little bit
credit to
surprised.
how well SMU plays at home, which you get 3 points for being at home, but still, the fact that Vegas might be dangling that out there. I don't know what they know, but
Right, okay.
SMU plays really well at home. I'm going SMU by 7. I'm with you on that.
All right,
So-
good. Well, let's do it, baby. I'll see you on Saturday. I will see
Yes.
all of y'all on the boulevard. Come say hi to us. We'll be walking around with our selfie stick again. I think Eric McLean wants to do another ACC huddle where he walks down the boulevard. And if that's the case, I want to come down to the tents by Dallas Hall. So all you students, let's make a great showing on the network, on the huddle. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be great.
So, all right.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. By the way, don't forget to sign up for Billy's website. What do you call it?
On the PonyExpress.com.
On the Pony Express. It's like 30 cents a day. It's cheap. And just join, and he gives you so much more content than just our podcast. There's so much more than that. So
Appreciate that.
Okay.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers to the Pony Express case as well. You can still get it at epicwines.com/pony. For Bill Armstrong, Billy Embody, another edition of the Walking Strong podcast. Done and dusted.
Thanks for listening to the On the Pony Express podcast with Billy Embody. Follow us on your socials on X at SMU-on3 and on Instagram at On3SMU. And keep it locked to OnThePonyExpress.com for more coverage.